Recording. All right. Good evening and welcome to tonight's virtual information session sponsored by Davidson-Davie Community College. Please be reminded that tonight's information session is being recorded, live stream via Zoom and Facebook, and is being recorded for future review of the broadcast. Tonight's information session will highlight Davidson-Davie Community College University transfer process. And we are so pleased to have with us tonight Jennifer Sink, who is the Division Chair of Math, Science, and Business and Technology, as well as Angie Abraham, who is the Director of Academic Advising. So we are asking you all that you post all your questions in the chat box here tonight. And at the conclusion of this university transfer process, please be sure to reach out. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask those questions as well. And we'd be happy to answer them. We also have a segment of time at the end of this presentation. If you'd like to unmute or just talk a little bit about the process and get you figured out, we'd love to help you there as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Jennifer Sink to talk a little bit about the college transfer pathways presentation.
Thank you so much, Sean. Good evening, everybody. As Sean mentioned, my name is Jennifer Sink, and I'm the Division Chair over Math, Science, Business, and Technology. And I'm really excited to share what I think is one of our college's best kept secrets with you. And that's talking a little bit more about our university transfer, also known as college transfer pathways. So we have two pathways that we're going to talk about, and I've listed them on this slide. We have the Associate in Arts, commonly referred to as the AA degree. And then we also have the Associate in Science, commonly referred to as the Associate in Science degree in the AS. And so I'll also talk a little bit more about which pathway is appropriate for you. So the first thing I want to mention is what a college transfer degree, what does that mean? People hear that term and it can mean a variety of different things. For community colleges in the state of North Carolina, it gives students the opportunity to basically get a head start on your bachelor's degree. So a bachelor's degree is a 4-year degree, and the Associate in Science, Associate in Arts, those are 2-year degrees. And so with a 2-year degree, you basically complete 2 years at Davidson-Davie. You transfer those 2 years into your 4-year school, whatever you're looking at, and we'll give some examples here in just a minute. And you start off as a junior. So it's a really great opportunity. And pretty much the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree looks the same no matter which university, college, or community college that you're looking at. So we have what's called, the third bullet on the slide mentions the articulation agreement. And the fancy word articulation just refers to transfer agreement. So it's basically a transfer agreement between our community colleges in the state of North Carolina, along with the universities, in addition to many independent or private colleges. And that articulation agreement basically states, we're going to take these classes from the community college and we're going to accept them at our college or university. So let's talk a little bit more about each of the degrees, in addition for which one is appropriate for you based on what your goal is for your 4-year degree. So the Associate in Arts, the AA, is going to be the best fit for students that are wanting to major or pursue a bachelor's degree in an arts or humanities discipline. So that's going to include things, obviously, arts and humanities, but it also includes things like history, psychology, sociology, philosophy. Any of those types of fields are going to be better suited for the AA degree. Then at the opposite end, we have the Associate in Science, as we said before, also called the AAS degree. Now, based on the name, that kind of tells you you're going to have more of a focus on science. So the Associate in Science degree is best suited for students that are wanting to pursue a math or science bachelor's degree. And the Associate in Science is going to get you all those math and science courses that you would need in your first to transfer as a junior at your chosen university or college. Now, at the very bottom of the slide, I wanted to add this, but I'm not going to focus much time talking about this. But we also have an associate in arts and an associate science degree in teacher prep. These are actually fairly new degrees for us. So if you're interested in teaching at the elementary, middle, or high school level, these would be the best fit for you.
Jennifer, I actually have there's a quick question in the chat, if you mind.
Okay.
Would the AA pathway be for a nutrition degree? Ashley wanted to ask that question. Do you know?
That's a great question. And Ashley, I'd be happy. I'm going to give you my email address at the end of the session. And if you want to reach out to me, I'll be happy to take a look at what school you're looking at for that nutrition degree. And I can provide some advice based on that. It really depends on what are the math and science requirements for the nutrition degree. So for example, if it requires, quite a bit of chemistry, which depending on the field of nutrition, if you're thinking about studying nutrition or nutrition research, I could see that requiring a lot of math and science. But if you're thinking of more like a public nutrition program, then that might be better suited for the associate in arts. So like I said, my email address is going to pop up at the end. So if you want to email me, let me know what you're thinking. I'll be happy to help you. Anything else, Sean?
Yep, she said thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so talking a little bit more about the comprehensive articulation agreement. Just remember, once again, the word articulation is referring to transfer. So the comprehensive articulation agreement, we call it the CAA. It's a statewide agreement in North Carolina that basically says the 2 years of coursework that you take for your associate in arts or associate in science, they're going to transfer to the North Carolina public universities, in addition to some of the private independent colleges. And the whole goal of this is to allow a smooth transfer for students to be able to complete their 2-year degree at the community college level, transfer in all of those credits, and start off as a junior. So that's the purpose of this whole transfer program. So we also have a little bit more to add about the comprehensive articulation agreement. So the agreement also assures students admission to one of the 16 UNC institutions. And that's referred to, they call it TAP, but it stands for Transfer Assured Admissions Policy. So as long as you meet certain criteria, you are guaranteed admission to one of the 16 UNC institutions. And as I mentioned, there's some independent or private colleges we'll mention as well coming up. So we mentioned before, you're going to start off as a junior if you complete your associate in arts or your associate in science. So I added this slide in here because I wanted you all to see some of the UNC schools, or actually all of the UNC schools that you can transfer to with your associate in arts or associate in science. So once again, you complete your associate in arts or science with us. You can transfer to a University of North Carolina University to complete your bachelor's degree and start off as a junior. Now, in addition, we also have a big list of what we call private colleges or private universities, also known as independent colleges or universities. So it's a pretty big list, but all of these are colleges, universities in North Carolina that will accept your associate in arts, associate in science, and you will begin there at junior level status. So one major thing we have to think about is why. Why are we going to go to Davidson-Davie Community College, and why should I choose college transfer? So a major thing, and if I had a little pen right now or a highlighter, I would really highlight and circle that very top bullet that is talking about lower tuition costs. And I think our next slide is going to have an impact on you as you look at the cost savings to attend Davidson-Davie Community College, as opposed to going straight to a 4-year university or college. So we already mentioned the second bullet. You're going to be able to transfer to another college, start off as a junior. Another advantage, you stay close to home. You don't have to rent an apartment. You don't have to stay in a dorm. Also, we offer a variety of flexible scheduling options. Currently, we have a combination of 8-week courses. We have 16-week courses. We have online courses. We have hybrid courses, which are partially online and partially face-to-face. So I think we have almost every option out there to meet every need. I do want to mention our associate in arts degree is actually offered completely online. So if you know that you've got to work 40 hours a week and or you have a family and it's really tough to create a good schedule for college, you can think about that online associate in arts degree. It's a really good option. And the goal of the program is to provide a smooth transition to a 4-year institution. So you're going to learn in your very first year, you'll take a college transfer success course. One of the goals of that course is to get you on the pathway of picking out your major. Where do you want to transfer? How to be a successful college student? All of those things are really important to identify early on so you can make sure that you're in the right program. So this is probably my favorite slide, and I think that it really shows you the cost savings of attending Davidson-Davie Community College in comparison to going straight to a 4-year university or college. Now, I want to mention this is the average cost of tuition and fees, and it's for 2 years. Now, very important here, if you live in Davidson County, if you go to Duke or to Appalachian, you're also going to have to add in room and board, and that gets expensive. So the total cost for us on average, around $5,173 for two years, and that's tuition and fees. And then if you look down the line here, Duke, for example, $116,396 just for 2 years. So you'd have to double that for a bachelor's degree, a 4-year degree. And then if you were looking at living in an apartment or a dorm room, having a meal plan or any of those things, it adds on extra expenses for sure. So this is a really good slide to keep in mind as you're thinking about the financial perspective of higher education. Some other advantages of attending a community college is we have very friendly faculty and staff. Most of us work here because we love this. We love the college. We love the counties. We love the communities that we serve. And I can say that most everybody that I work with on a day-to-day basis, we're here because we want to be here. We want to help our students. We want to help our communities succeed. So definitely you'll meet lots of friendly faces and have good conversations with folks on campus or online, virtual. We do have smaller class sizes, and I think that's something really important. And I remember when I went to college, walking into a classroom full of 100 to 200 plus people, that can be a little bit overwhelming and intimidating. So for the most part, most of our classes are going to have 24 to 30 students max in those classes. So you really get to know your instructors, you get to know your classmates as well and build those relationships. We also have a variety of clubs and organizations, and that list is constantly changing based on new students coming in and new faculty and staff that are interested in starting new clubs and organizations. We also have a lot of exceptional international activities, including our study abroad program. We always have lots of trips planned, and our international night is actually coming up this Thursday. So we're always really involved with that, and the college does a great job promoting that. We also have a lot of student support services. So we have the Office of Advising. Angie is here. Sean is here with admissions. In addition to, we have things like TRIO, which is a great resource for first generation college students. We have Single Stop that can help students that are experiencing any type of, kind of a financial crisis or need access to resources or some other type of help. Now, I wanted to mention, because we have the college transfer pathways, the associate in arts and associate in science that we've been talking about. But I also wanted to mention briefly that we have a massive list of associate and applied science degrees, also called AAS degrees. These degrees are typically 2-year degrees that are training students to get out into the workforce. But as we have progressed, we have also set up some transfer or articulation agreements with some of these programs as well. And I've listed some of the ones that do have specific agreements set up with specific colleges and universities. So for example, accounting and business administration, we have articulation agreements with Gardner-Webb. We're actually working on Catawba as well now. IT, we have some with North Carolina A&T. Zoo and Aquarium, we have one set up with Winston-Salem State University, working on one with Lees-McRae. Sustainable Agriculture is a new program for us, and we're working on one with A&T for that one as well. And kind of the list goes on there. So we also have those opportunities available as well if you're interested in that. So I want to take a minute and show you, I'm going to click on this link. This is Associate in Arts. Hopefully this will work.
So it looks like we still see your slideshow at the moment.
Okay.
So you might need to just exit out of the PowerPoint and then just hit on, I think, the tab, Jennifer.
Okay. Let's see if I can switch.
Yeah, you could also you could stop sharing your screen and then you could share it again. Maybe. Oh, wait, we see it.
You
It
see
looks
it?
good. Yep, we see it.
Okay, great, great. So what I've just pulled up right now is our Associate in Arts with the AA degree, and it's listed this way in our catalog. And I just wanted to show you, it's got information here about the degree, but it also has a breakdown. And this is an example of a full-time pathway in the Associate in Arts. And very importantly, if you need to be a part-time student, we can definitely work with you. So this is a full-time status, assuming at least 12 credit hours per semester. And it's broken down by first fall, first spring, second fall, and second spring. So you can see it's a full 2 years. Now, I want to mention, sometimes students will say, do you offer summer classes? The answer is yes. And with the college transfer degrees, you've got some flexibility in there as well. So you don't have to take things in the exact order, but this is kind of our recommended sequence. All right, so a quick look at the Associate in Science.
Yeah, it might be taking just some time to load is all. So,
Okay.
so it looks like we still see your slide, but no worries. Oh, there we go.
Okay. I had to click on it twice. Okay, so very similar setup here to the Associate in Arts that we just saw. Here's the Associate in Science, broken down by fall and spring again. And this is a full-time pathway example. So as a reminder, you can choose a part-time pathway. We do have classes in the summer if you need to make a fall or a spring a little bit lighter. But it looks very similar to the Associate in Arts, but you will notice there's more math and science courses that are embedded in this 2-year pathway. Okay, back to the PowerPoint, Sean.
Yep, it's all good.
Okay, thank you. So, Sean, this might be the part you want to talk a little bit about.
Yeah. So obviously you got to get started at Davidson-Davie through this pathway. And we have some steps to set you up for success here. So there's a couple of things that we want to make sure that you have completed so we can accurately find your student account here in our system. So the first kind of 2 steps are kind of go hand in hand at this point, which is completing the residency determination service, as well as completing your online application. So the residency determination service is really to determine if you're in state or not. And that will also qualify you for in-state aid later down the line when you are working on your FAFSA. So with this, you're gonna want to go on to ncresidency.org to make sure to fill out kind of a survey of obviously asking you questions about relevant to your location and stuff like that. It should take you about 30 minutes. So once you do that, you're going to want to get at the end of that assessment your RDS number, which is your residency determination service number. And with that number, you're going to actually plug that into your application when you do your application here at Davidson-Davie Community College. So that will obviously make sure that it'll read in the application that you're in state, or out of state, obviously, and that will be registered in the system. So once you complete the online application, that application is going on and sent over to admissions, where college admissions specialists will be reviewing that and making sure that everything is all set. And then once you are in the system, they're going to go ahead and process that application. Usually takes 3 to 5 days to process, and also then provide you and email you your next steps of what to complete. And that will include your FAFSA, and you'll have to do that, which is your free application for federal student aid. So you're going to want to do that every year, obviously. And with those steps, you're also going to want to submit any transcripts. And obviously this is really important. And we do include a how to apply checklist. So you can find this checklist on our admissions page on how to apply. And they do a great job of directing you on how to submit these transcripts to us, or vice versa if you need to send your transcripts out. So high school transcripts, obviously college transcripts, and that will be really important if you need to transfer any credit. So next step, we'll obviously completing the new student orientation, which I'm sure Angie could love to speak about that. So, and I'll pass it over after this, but you're going to want to complete new student orientation as well. That is a requirement for the program, or just in general to be part of the college. You're going to have to complete that. And then your last step is going to be meeting with advising so you can register for classes. So I could kind of pass it off to Angie if she wants to talk a little bit about the advising side to things, a part of this once you're done with your admissions checklist. So Angie, do you want to talk a little bit about advising?
Sure, I'll give a quick few minutes about advising. As Sean stated, once you have to complete your new student orientation, and it's currently online. During that process, you will have an opportunity to, one, confirm your major or declare it. If you are undecided, you meet with our career services counselors, and they will kind of walk you through a process, talk to you a little bit, get your major confirmed. And then once that's done, you have to make sure that the entire new student orientation has been completed. You'll get referred to advising, and a referral will then be sent to your actual advisor. We can't advise you until you've declared a major, so that we'll know which advisor to connect you with. And once that process happens, you can set up a meeting through Starfish with your advisor, or we have what's called walk-in Wednesdays. So on Wednesdays, you can come into the advising center without an appointment and see an advisor. There could possibly be a wait time just because, they might be seeing other students, but that is an option that we hope students will take advantage of. You can also reach out, look at our webpage. We can reach out to our advise email, send an email if you have any questions. Once you meet with your advisor, we will help you to map out your academic plan with all of those classes that Jennifer was talking about for the Associate in Arts or Associate in Science or whatever program that you're in. But also with academic advising, we also help set up transfer events. So we set up opportunities for four-year colleges to come on campus and visit with our students to give you information about the colleges, answer any questions that you might have. And with that, that also goes into our college transfer fair. The North Carolina Community College System, they put on what they call a community college transfer tour. Usually starts in October and goes through maybe early November. And they visit every community college and gives them an opportunity to kind of talk about who they are, what they offer, and give our students, most importantly, an opportunity to learn about them and transferring. And I think that is all that I have right now, but be glad to answer any questions that you might have as well.
So I believe the last thing we have in our PowerPoint here is just the contact us information. So you'll see the email address for admissions@davidson-davie.edu. And as Angie mentioned, you can email advise@davidson-davie.edu. I've added my contact information here as well, Jennifer_Sink@davidson-davie.edu. So please feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any questions or we can do anything to assist you.
Great. Well, it looks like we also have some time for questions. So if you all want to stick around in regards of, anything that you want to ask us, we'll be here, for as long as you need us. We're definitely happy to help. But other than that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the live stream and say goodbye to our friends who are tuning in to the streaming world. But for anyone who has any questions, those folks in the streaming as well, please contact us. We do have our contact information as well. So please reach out, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream